The Subway Surfers collab is here, and with it, the Subway Run game mode, and love it or hate it, it does mean free trophies for a bunch of brawlers. I recommend noting down all the brawlers mentioned that you have pretty powered up so that you can push them while you have the chance. Bull is great for his DPS up close, which allows him to get a lot of kills and get a bunch of speed boosts. His super is also perfect for this game mode, allowing him to get to checkpoints quickly, and it can even slow down your opponents. Also, I should mention that with pretty much every brawler on this list, you're going to want to be using the jetpack Subway super, since it's definitely the best one for this game mode. Next up we have Sam, and his super is what makes him great because it gives you that good speed boost, heals you, and even can pull your opponents back. You can also spam his base attack, which has some pretty good DPS as well. Also, I had to buy a bunch of hypercharges just to test out all the brawlers for this video, so if you find it useful, please leave a like. Cordelius can be kind of hit or miss, since if you get stuck in his shadow realm and aren't able to kill your enemy, it's a big waste of time and you're not able to hit the checkpoints. But he does do a lot of damage up close and has some pretty good speed, which is very nice. Now for a game mode that's all about speed, the brawler whose whole thing is speed is bound to be pretty good, and Max definitely is. Her star power can charge up her super, and her gadget even gives her a dash that both gives her immunity and a little forward boost. And that's not even talking about her super itself. It literally just makes her faster, which is exactly what you want for this game mode. She doesn't have a whole lot of health, so you might die a lot, but you can recover ground quite fast with her. Next up we have Fang, and he's just good because of his super dashes. In this game mode, you can get some crazy combos and kill a bunch of enemies. You just gotta hope that you don't accidentally bounce in the wrong direction. When she's in her ninja mode, Kaze's super gives her a big dash, which can target enemies and gain her a ton of ground. When you don't have her super, her geisha mode is perfect for dashing all across the map and getting you to each checkpoint. Most of the time, you just want to avoid enemies with her and try to get through the race as fast as possible. She also might be a little bit more map dependent, since you don't want a ton of obstacles getting in the way of her long dash. And of course, we gotta talk about Kenji next. His dash ability is pretty much the only thing making him decent here. His super is not the greatest because it teleports you back to your original location unless you have your hypercharge. But he can definitely cook with his piercing attack and dashes. He's just not always the most consistent. Shelly has a gadget that allows her to dash forward, and she's probably the best brawler for dealing with assassins, which works out for this game mode since the meta is pretty much all assassins. While her reload speed can be a bit slow for dealing with multiple opponents, her super helps making up for it, and you can definitely combo them a lot. EMZ is good because of the amount of damage she can output, and it's all splash hanging in the air for a decent amount of time. She unfortunately doesn't have any dash abilities, so without getting kills, she's kind of slow. But boy, can you destroy a lot of people, especially with her super. And don't even get me started on her hypercharge super, it's so good. I'd say her biggest weaknesses are that she isn't great up close, but her gadget can help with that, and also that you can't use her Subway super while you have her regular super activated. For Kit, I think he might be the only brawler where the sneaker Subway super is better than the jetpack. With it, you can jump on opponents with his super and then immediately jump off and still be able to attack them. This is what makes him so good in this game mode. His hypercharge super does essentially the same thing, but you can just spam it over and over, just jumping on opponents all across the map. He also does do piercing damage, which is great when you're facing 10 people in a race. Chester can do a lot of damage up close, helping him to secure those kills and get the speed boost. Also, no matter what super you get with him, it's most likely going to be useful. Plus, if you get a hypercharge, then you're really cooking. His very slow reload speed can be a bit of a problem though, especially since you don't regain ammo when you die or when you're using your Subway supers. Jackie's gadget gives her a speed boost, and her star power can deal damage to enemies that are trying to attack her. Even without that, her kit is amazing for this game mode since she has high DPS, crazy splash damage, and can suck in all the other enemies without slowing herself down. If you play her, you can probably expect to get a few team wipes. Leon's a bit of a weird pick and can be kind of hit or miss, but he does do good damage up close, even though it's not splash damage. His super is also nice because it can give him a pretty decent speed boost and help him avoid any enemies that would target him. You can also throw down either of your gadgets just for some extra distractions. I think Tara is quite underrated since her super can wipe out the entire lobby and you can just chain them like crazy. She also does do splash damage and has some pretty good damage output up close. Her biggest issue though is her slow reload speed, which can leave you next to an assassin with zero ammo to speak of. Next up we have Daryl, who is a really good pick just because of his double super roll, which might I add is auto charging and super easy to get multiple times in this match. He also is a shotgun brawler, so he does lots of damage up close, and his reload speed is very fast. Ali is also a very good pick since you can become enraged pretty much the entire match. Her reload speed is slow, but she does do splash damage and has a dash attack, so she's quite good. With her, you mostly want to just avoid other people and dash through each checkpoint as fast as you can. You also sometimes might be able to sneak by people with her super and avoid getting targeted. Gale is such an annoying pick simply because he can push enemies across the map. You can use his gadget to prevent people from getting to the different checkpoints, and depending on your star power, you can either stun them with your super or slow them with your regular attacks. Now, I don't play much Draco, but I've heard he's a really good assassin counter. He does do pierce damage and gets a speed boost when he's on his dragon, and with all the damage you're going to be doing in this game mode, you can essentially stay on his dragon the entire time. You can also use his gadget to launch enemies into the air where they can't attack you. Ashe gets really fast when his rage bar is charged up, and in this game mode there's a lot of enemies to hit, so you can run around raged up basically the entire time if you play your cards right. His super is also a great distraction, and you can get them quite a bit and chain them. You can also use your gadget to heal up right before you throw your super and immediately get your rage back with the super. Buzz's super is very good for this game mode since it pulls you towards the next checkpoint and even stuns enemies. And with so many opponents in your super circle, you're going to be charging it up non-stop. You might accidentally hit players with your super and not go as far as you hoped, but at least you'll get that stun off. Also, fun fact, you can hit trains with your super and it'll pull you towards them. Lily's gadget basically just allows her to get a free checkpoint without having to deal with any enemies. She's also amazing up close for dealing tons of damage and can even pierce enemies. Finally, her super literally lets her teleport farther up the map as long as you have an enemy up there to hit it on. But just like Cordelius, you want to be careful with her hypercharge super since you might find yourself in the Shadow Realm and unable to get to the checkpoints. Crow's super is the one thing that makes him goated in this game mode. You can jump to the checkpoints and do a ton of damage to enemies. You can just combo his supers over and over and over again, especially with his hypercharge, and just wipe out the entire lobby. Miko's jump allows him to gain ground and jump over obstacles, making him quite efficient at getting to the checkpoints. He's not the best because of his slow reload speed, but his ammo steal star power can definitely help with that. Unfortunately, his super is kind of useless since it makes you a lot slower and you have to wait for yourself to go up and come back down. Stu, like Max, is another brawler that's just kind of known for his speed. You essentially have infinite supers with him in this game mode, which just allows you to run to the checkpoints. I would definitely use the star power that gives you the extra long super, and believe it or not, you can even get your super instantly off the guard as well. I would 100% recommend pushing him in this game mode. RT is definitely not a brawler I would have thought would be amazing at this game mode, but with his gadget, he can instantly charge his super at the start of the match and do insane splash damage. You can also just pop it wherever you want because you'll spawn at your latest checkpoint if you die anyways. And you can always use your super again to teleport across the map to a different checkpoint if you want. Ooh, and don't get me started about his hypercharge. If/when you get it, you essentially wipe out the entire lobby almost every single time. It's so good. And remember, every brawler you kill gives you a speed boost, so prepare to be zipping. Chuck is one of, if not my least favorite brawler in the game, but I have to admit that on certain maps in this game mode, especially if there's just 3 checkpoints, he's very good for cheesing it. As long as you get it set up right, you can zip to your checkpoints over and over again, destroying your enemies and giving you those free trophies. Clancy is another brawler you wouldn't expect to be so good here, but you can level him up super fast, and once you do, he becomes an absolute machine. You can easily wipe out all the assassins, tanks, and shotgunners. At his max tier, his super and regular attacks do so much damage at close range and have such a wide spread that you're always going to be hitting people. And that's not even mentioning that he also has a dash gadget which can also stun enemies. Mortis wasn't on the throne as the fastest brawler for years for nothing. His dashes are so good for this game mode, especially his long dash. And with so many opponents all lined up, his super can cause absolute havoc. He also has a gadget that literally just increases his reload speed, aka his dash speed. What's not to love? BB has a wide area damage attack, high DPS, a speed star power, and she can knock enemies back. Also, I think she's technically classified as a tank, and if not, she just does have a lot of health. Needless to say, she is very good in this game mode, and if you have her powered up, I'd definitely recommend using her. What's there to say about Griff aside from prepare to be using your super over and over and over again? He does so much damage up close to enemies, especially with his super. He can just one-tap almost any brawler. This just keeps giving him those speed boosts and charges up his hypercharge, which, might I remind you, goes through walls. Melody probably has the most mobility out of any brawler with their super. You get 3 dashes out of each super, and you can charge them back really fast, especially with her orbiting orbs. Her only downside is that she's a bit squishy, but when nobody can touch you, that's not really a big issue. Edgar is the brawler that you'll probably see the most in this game mode, and it's for a good reason. You don't have to think too much. Just use your super to gain ground and get the checkpoints, and then auto-aim spam whenever you're nearby anyone. Edgar is so good at dealing damage to multiple people up close, especially since his attacks heal him the entire time and are also piercing through everyone. Now, I don't play much Shade, but a brawler that gives you a massive speed boost every time you hit someone with a critical attack attack is bound to be broken. He also has a wide spread for his base attack and can damage almost everyone at once. He's definitely one of, if not the best brawler for this game mode. You'll be just absolutely zipping around the map with him. And if you get his hypercharge, every single hit is a critical attack. Just be careful not to run into any trains when you're going that fast. Even if you're in your incorporeal form, you're still not going to be going through them. Next up, we have the only thrower on this list, Barry. If you can combo his supers, he'll be dashing across the map and killing enemies that are way behind him. You do have to be careful with him though, since he's a thrower and not good at close combat, and he also has a very slow reload speed. With El Primo, you're going to want to use his jumps mainly when you don't have the speed boost or just right up close. I think if you do a really far jump, it could slow you down if you have a much faster speed boost. I would also recommend using his meteor gadget as opposed to the throwing one, since you have to do a pause every time you throw an enemy. But yeah, just being a tank with a lot of health and piercing damage is definitely pretty good for this game mode. Carl's actually surprisingly good, since you can use his gadget to dash forward and gain some extra speed with his super. If you use him right, you can be killing enemies and zooming around the map all at the same time, though his pickaxe can take a while to get back to him. I think Trunk's actually a pretty underrated pick for this game mode. He has a good area attack, which can do some pretty good damage if they're right on the edge. He's also a tank, so he has a lot of health and good survivability. And I almost forgot about this, but his super is literally a rush forward, even though it does kind of slow down a bit when you're hitting enemies. Now, you definitely wouldn't expect Gray to be on this list, especially since he's a sniper and not good at close range. He also has a pretty slow reload speed. Wait, why is he on this list? Oh yeah, because of his super. His teleport is so good, and you can set up extra portals with his hypercharge if it's the loot map. But honestly, his super is way easier to charge up than I thought it would be. You can charge it up on other players or even the guard himself and just teleport across the map. Mo's base attack can give him super almost immediately if you play your cards right, and his super gives him a nice dash forward and some extra movement speed. He can be quite squishy in his regular form, so you might be dying a lot. Not my top pick, but he's definitely a viable option. Now with Doug, I would not recommend using his super almost at all, because usually it's going to take more time to respawn with it than to just go back to the last respawn point. But as a close range tank with some good splash damage, Doug is bound to be at least pretty decent at this game mode. And those are all the brawlers that I think are viable in Subway Run. Let me know if I missed any that you think are really good in this game mode, or if there's any that you think shouldn't have been on this list. That being said, remember to use code David, and I'll see you guys next time.